So I wanted to do a mock interview no, I'm kidding. But instead of having Dean Roth go through yet another interview, we're so happy to have him a whole year now, I think, right, Dean Roth? But maybe there's some things you don't know about him. So what we thought we'd like to do as a way to transition to the next portion of this program is, why don't you see if you know which one of these facts is not true about Dean Roth? I'll open up the poll. Did he play in a heavy metal band? Did he work on Wall Street? Did he jump out of an airplane? Did he climb Mount Fuji? Three of these are correct and one is not true. Which one? Oh, okay, Dean Roth. I'm going to stop the poll at this point, and I'll let you tell them all these great true and not true facts about yourself. Dean Roth.
Thank you, Julia. So I guess it was pretty timely to have Coach Gallagher here and say failure's okay, because those you failed on this one. So a little chronology here. So when I graduated from high school, a good friend of mine was a very good musician, and we're basically kind of killing time before we started college. And he said, here's my bass, learn how to play it. And over the summer, learned how to play the bass and played in a heavy metal band. Played through the freshman year of college. We weren't very successful. Well, we thought we were good. We weren't very successful in terms of drawing attendance when we went to clubs. The excuse we used was you had to be 21 to get into a club. You hear a live band in Pittsburgh, and of course we were 18 at the time, so it was hard to get our friends there. Then I quickly realized that was probably not going to be my wage-earning future, so I just decided to start shifting my attentions elsewhere in college. However, when I was in college, I ended up meeting the person who became my best friend. I was best man in his wedding, he was best man in mine, and we just kind of decided one time, hey, let's jump out of an airplane. So we decided to take a weekend, and we went to some place in Ohio and spent a day and jumped out of an airplane, and it was something that I'm glad that I did it, but I'm glad I only did it once. It was fun to do, but I never had a desire to do it another time. Spin the clock a bit further. When I was on faculty at the University of South Carolina, one of the really fun things that I got to do was be involved in a number of programs where we would do training programs for managers and executives, and one of our clients was Nissan. So a colleague and I would go to Japan 2 or 3 times a year for a 5-year period, and we would typically do a workshop for 3 days, have a weekend, and do another workshop and head on out. So during one of those weekends, we kind of did a day trip and actually climbed Mount Fuji in a day, and got back down. So I've done A, C, and D, but I've never worked on Wall Street. So just gives you a little bit of accounting of where I've been. So thanks for playing our games with us today. I think that's it for our little quiz list. Is that correct? That's it. Okay. All right. I'm going to give you some good news, some bad news, and some good news. The good news is, just like we heard from Kirby, who had great internship at United Health Group and has another one lined up at KPMG, and Ben, who had 3 internships at Chubb as well as another, and lots of folks who have been your colleagues as upperclassmen here at the Barney School who have similar success stories, getting internships in full-time positions. We have lots of great success stories. So the good news is there are lots of people who graduate from the Barney School who are able to get the tools and the skills and the knowledge they need to add value to lots of great companies. And it's not just in the insurance space. We had Bob Antonelli. You might know Bob. He was very involved in the Economics Finance Club. He did his internship at UTC, hired him, he's working there full-time. Same thing. Lana Frankel, internship, Stanley Black & Decker, picked her up, working there full-time. Lots of great examples. But I'm going to give you 2 examples of people who are Ben's colleagues as seniors last year to really make sure to drive the point home about how important it is to not only be competent, but confident and connected. Anybody know Floridina Lamica? Anybody know Floridina when she was here? A few of you did. Floridina is sitting in class, Professor Kim's class to be specific. Professor Kim brings in a guest speaker. That guest speaker is visiting the class to talk about project management. And the activities that he engages in is overseeing project management at the Etna. She enjoys the presentation, introduces herself to him after, gets his business card, follows up by sending him an email, gets a courtesy information interview. Do you know where she's working now? At the Etna for him in project management. She had the confidence and the wherewithal to initiate that dialogue with somebody she was connected with here at the Barney School. Example number 2, how many of you know Mike Kelly? You know Mike? Mike played golf here, and Mike did great academically. Last year, we took students to visit 2 companies. One was the Hartford. We took a group of students down to their HIMCO group, where they have a trading floor, right here in downtown Hartford. Trading floor like you would see a company has down on Wall Street. And we took a group of students there, and we took another group of students to a company called FM Global. FM Global does cutting-edge research to help companies mitigate property risk and understand how to best underwrite that risk. And I have to tell you, I'm segueing slightly into the bad news here, I have to tell you that working with Professor Lashgary and some of our other faculty, we literally had to pull teeth to get 8 or 10 students to go on these trips. And I can tell you that for a fact because we had to get Ben, who went on both, as did his buddy Andrew and a couple other students. Okay? But these were great opportunities to spend a half a day at a company, and those companies were bringing in managers to meet with us, executives to meet with us, tell us what it's like to work at those companies, tell us what the career paths are in those organizations. At the end, meet with somebody in human resources who can tell us how do we get our foot in the door at this organization. But back to the good news. Mike went on the trip to FM Global. Had a great visit. We have a number of alumni there. They couldn't have been happier that we were making the effort to bring students to their company, connecting them with the Barney School. They contacted me afterwards and said, hey, we really enjoyed that. Let's get together and see what else we can do. Came up here for lunch. As a result of that conversation, they said, by the way, we're actually hiring for an underwriter in our Stamford, Connecticut office. Do you have any students who might be interested? As soon as I get back to my office, I'm on the phone to Professor Costello and Professor Lay saying, hey, do we have any good students who majored in insurance who would be good for FM Global that aren't already taken? One of those people they recommended was Mike. Mike was really excited because he had been on that visit. He really liked what he saw there. And when he had that first interview, and then a subsequent interview, he was actually able to talk about not just the research that he did, but what he saw when he was actually there. The people that he met, what he learned from his experience visiting there. Mike got the job. That's where he's working now. You have to take advantage of those connections. And you have to do that by having the confidence to act on them effectively. Good news. It can be done. We have lots of success stories to demonstrate it. Here's where the challenge comes in. This is the bad news. But just like when Professor Gallagher, Coach Gallagher, he'd love it if I called him that. Coach Gallagher said, close your eyes. And when you opened them, his point was, there's 1,000 other people who are trying to do the same thing as you. Yeah, that sounds 1,000 people, really? Okay. Let's kind of do a little math here. How many of you know a Barney School senior that's not in this room today? Put your hand up. Okay. So roughly speaking, it looks like 50 to 60% of the Barney senior class is here. Is that about right? Okay. Those 40%, they're behind you. Okay? In this announcement, to come to this event, we said, dress business casual. Is anybody here not dressed business casual? Yes, there is. Okay? Following instructions. No penalty. That was the instructions. Okay? That's just here at the Barney School of Business. Our colleagues here from industry may have openings this year. How many jobs do you think they have available for people right out of college? Maybe 1 or 2 in their organization, maybe 4 or 5 if it's a really big company. So now, the 120, 130 Barney School seniors are competing for those jobs. You guys have a bit of an advantage because you're taking the initiative to figure out how to get those jobs. And some of you are acting on that a little better than others. But guess what? Don't you think there's rooms just like this at UConn and Quinnipiac and Fairfield and New Haven and any other college you can think of where these same companies go to recruit? I wish I could tell you, all you got to do is graduate from the University of Hartford, and employers like this are going to be waiting up at night for your resume to come across their desk. That's not what keeps them up at night. Something else certainly does, and we don't need to go there. But that's not what's keeping them up at night. It's up to you. It's a tough market out there. It is, blame your parents about when they had you. But it is what it is. It's a tough market, and you have to figure out how you can be the cream that rises to the top. We can try to direct you there. We can try to give you the tools and give you the skills. But if you don't take advantage of them, it's not going to happen. You have to take ownership of that. Okay? So what I want to share with you now, there's a number of different activities that we're putting together this fall semester, and there'll be more in the spring to really help you up your game. You know what we do in the classroom. You've been through Bar 110, you've been through Bar 211, you've had internships, you're working on your applied projects now in your majors. But all of these other types of activities, professional development activities, are things that you need to engage in. And you can't just do them once. It's the same metaphor that you just heard Celia talk about of riding a bike. Think about when you were 4 years old or 5 years old or 6 years old. How did you start? You got on a tricycle, then you graduated to a bicycle with training wheels. Mom or dad finally thought that you'd be safe, but they took those training wheels off. They made sure they strapped the helmet on you. One of them ran behind you, holding that seat in the back until you outpedaled them, and they let you go. And what inevitably happened? You fell over, right? You probably hadn't really mastered how to stop on 2 wheels without training wheels. You fell over. That day, you learned how to ride a bike. Would you classify yourself as a good bicycle rider that day? I don't think so. Because at best you were wobbling down the street, a safety hazard to yourself and others. But by the end of the summer, or fast forward to the next year, you were a lot better bicycle rider. You would learn how to ride a bike. You could do it without falling over, skinning your knees, having cars screech because you were going out in front of traffic. It's the same thing with interviewing. It's the same thing with networking. It's the same thing with writing a cover letter. You can't expect to do it once and be good at it. You began to learn those skills in Bar 211, but you got to practice them. Luckily, we have a career services office. A number of those professionals are here. They offer workshops on these types of activities all year. How many of you have been taking advantage of them? Yeah, not too many hands going up. Yeah, you're busy. I understand that. Professors are working you hard. You're in the Barney Leadership Council. You're going to Gamma Iota Sigma meetings. You're in a fraternity or a sorority. I get it. It's college. You're here to have a good time. You're here to make lifelong friends. but you're also here to make sure you get a job when you graduate. These are the things you got to do because it's so competitive out there. You have to figure out how to be a cut above. Okay? So these are the things that we need you to do. And what we're trying to gear you up for is not to, I'm going to use a baseball metaphor here. I know we got some baseball players. Not hit a single, not hit a double or a triple, but to hit a home run when you go to the Beta Alpha Psi Meet the Firms night, or you go to the Business Opportunity Fair that we're going to be hosting here in 3 weeks, or the College to Career Expo that's going to be at Rentschler Field in October. You need to have your A game. You need to be sharp. You need to be ready. You need to bring it home. These are the things that you need to be ready for. And on the next couple slides, you're going to see the activities that we want you to engage in to try to make that happen. Just in September, in addition to this event that you're attending, and you're earning a point, that's why we had you swipe your card to get in, these are other professional development activities that you can participate in, and each one in which you participate, you'll earn a point. We have a session that the Career Services Office is going to offer on what are the things that you should be thinking about to really do well at a career fair, like the Meet the Firms night or the Business Opportunity Fair. Interviewing preparation if you're pursuing an opportunity in accounting. Dress for success. Having a confident professional presence, and so forth. We know you have difficult schedules. You've got a lot going on, but you need to make sure you get to as many of these activities as you can. That's September. In October, another menu of different professional activities for you to participate in, all of which you can earn a point by attending. And then we'll wrap up the semester with a few more in November and December. Here's my challenge to you. Earn 5 points, I'll take you to lunch. Now, I don't know if I'm going to get 25 of you. I don't know if I'm going to get 250 of you. So I don't know where we're going to have lunch. I don't know how big a room I need, how much food I need to order. But you earn 5 points. End of the semester, the faculty and I are going to treat you to lunch. We'll let you know where. As things roll on, we see how many points are being accumulated. Okay? We know that you can do it. This is our way of giving you just a little bit extra incentive, as if getting that last internship or getting that full-time job isn't quite enough. As usual, we'll throw some food at it and give you a little recognition and a pat on the back. Okay? We know you can do it. We know you can be successful. We have confidence in you. But we also know you need as deep of a toolkit as possible to make it happen, and that's what we're trying to do here, to give you as many tools as we can for you to be competent, confident, and connected, and be successful. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about anything that you heard or saw today? No questions. It's just late for lunch. Is that it?